Hey YouTube, I just wanted to show you some tricks and tips that I use to keep your reptiles' cost down. First of all, I use newspaper bedding on whatever animals I can. Newspaper I get for free because I don't have to pay for the newspaper here. And I've got tons of it. I recommend it for skinks, geckos, snakes, beardies, small tortoises, anything pretty much. The really only thing you don't want to use it for is amphibians because they have very sensitive skin. And you don't want to use it for things that are burrowing species because they like to burrow. However, if you shred it, then they can burrow in it. Also, reptiles are very sensitive to fluoride and chlorine and things that are in your water. You can use Reptile water conditioner if you want, but also if you have the time, you can get a large bucket and just have your water sit for a few days, and that will dissipate all the additives that are in the tap water and make it safe for reptiles. If you put it in the sun, it should only take about a day, but if it's winter right now, so there's not a lot of sun. So if you just leave it out, it'll just take a few days extra than if you were to leave it in the sun. For amphibians, whatever you can, like aquatic amphibians especially, I recommend using rocks and water because you can reuse them and you don't have to add new rocks and stuff. You just wash them. Eco Earth comes in this brick. It is very cheap and it's very expensive some places, but I recommend getting the brick because you can also get a bag of it, but the bag is more expensive because there's less in the bag than it is in the brick, so I recommend getting the brick because it's a lot cheaper. Also, the large grade shredded bags of aspen work well because, see if I have mine, because they are very, very cheap where I get them. I get mine at a local feed store, and aspen for the burrowing reptiles is the best to use because it's got no aromatic oils, it's clean, it's dry, and it's absorbent, which is really good. Also, you can try breeding mice to help cut down on your costs, but I don't recommend it because they are very smelly and you will have to clean them out a lot. Also, if you have any animals such as hedgehogs or guinea pigs, a way to save money on there is I recommend using fleece liners, as they're very soft and comfortable on the animal's feet, and they are easy to reuse. You can wash them and just reuse them. Also, I bet you have all heard for your hedgehog or whatever animal, the yesterday's news litter. This is a litter that is made out of recycled newspaper and it's very good. However, I use what is called Good Muse. It is exactly the same product. It's recycled newspaper. It has no dust, traps odors, no tracking, and it's flushable. It's very safe. There's no aromatic oils or anything like that. And it's a lot cheaper than yesterday's news, and it's virtually the same product. Also, I recommend checking out places such as Wegmans. Wegmans has very cheap, like, cuddle bones for tortoises. I also got this cat dish that I use for my tortoise. And I also, here, I'll show you. I also got this dog dish that I use for my bearded dragon. Very, very cheap. The cat dish was like 99 cents. And the dog dish was like $2. They're very, very cheap for that size versus the big ceramic ones that are pretty expensive. That's my bearded dragon, Rocky. So, these are some of the ways I save money with reptiles and my animals. There are a lot of other ways, but these are some ways that work for me, and I hope they help. Also, things you can do is, if your animal doesn't need a heat light, like if you have a baby sand boa, which I do, or a baby leopard gecko, and your room is warm enough that it doesn't need a heat pad or a heat light, don't give them one. Because that wastes electricity, which you may not pay for, but your parents probably do. Or, your lights only need to be on 10 to 12 hours during the day at max. You really can get by with a lot less than that. So, when you're done, just turn everything off, and as long as your reptiles have eaten and have got enough, and turn everything off. I hope these tips help, and if I think of any more, I'll let you know.